Welcome back to our LCS Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Just got done talking about the Dream Team. Carpet still wants a dark horse on his team, not sure why, but you know, we're just going to let him have that at this point.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of stories this day of Overtime. It's been a lot of fun. I talked about being wave punk and why. Carpet, I want to hear your favorite community story from back in the olden days before our LCS Go.
My favorite? That's not fair. I'm going to want to pick my own.
That's fine.
What a history lesson.
Bias is okay.
My favorite, I don't know if anyone have been, how we met. Oh, wait a second. That actually might be amazing. We could tell the story how me and Quinn met. You want to hear that one?
Yeah, I want to hear that. I've not heard the story.
All right, so this is before I was competitive, but I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was still playing a lot.
He had a lot of time on his hands.
A lot of time on my hands.
But definitely not competitive, if you know what I'm saying.
I wasn't competitive yet, not at the time, and I was playing with two of my friends,
graduated, but haven't found a job level of time on your hands.
I was playing with, actually, I can't say their names out loud. I just remember what their usernames were. But I was playing with two of my friends, and we ran into some people. We had just hit the level Master, and this is when that was actually kind of rare. This is before people I don't think there was a Rocketeer yet at the time. No one had hit Rocketeer yet. So we hit Master, and we were super stoked. We go to play a game. We get destroyed. And someone on the other team was like, LOL, what are you, real Masters? Because at the time, there were people that were faking their level. Now, that other person happened to be Quinn Lobdell. So it was friendly banter. I think he just thought he was against some people that were whatever. But one of the players I was playing with at the time.
To be fair, it was like 5-0 and like the game was just getting started.
It was bad. Yeah. It was like 5-0, like 2 minutes in.
It was totally reasonable for me to ask.
It was.
How you put so many hours into the game and we're still so bad.
You heard it right here, folks. If you're beating people by 5-0 at 2 minutes, it's okay to be toxic. That's what Quinn said.
Oh, to be fair, you had Edwin carrying you.
I never said it's okay to be toxic.
Edwin was carrying you, so it's really not your fault. Yeah, Edwin was carrying you at the time.
Lordy.
So anyways, one of my teammates was really peeved about it. He was really peeved. So he made a Reddit post being like, I used to be a fan of Orange Creamsicle, which Quinn Lobdell was on with Edwin, the guy that carries him all the time.
Sure, it's true.
And like it was this big like it wasn't actually that big, but as far as the subreddit was concerned, and it was the first time you'd ever gotten that kind of
important detail. This was like back before Orange Creamsicle used to be like hugely relevant.
Okay.
Like back when there were no teams really relevant except for Iberpower and
Cosmic,
Cosmic, right?
Yeah.
Even Kings of Urban was like a stretch.
Yeah.
Right? Not many people follow them. So like I never really considered the fact that people actually knew who I was at the time, as far as being a member of Orange Creamsicle.
You weren't used to being a public figure.
Things have changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's like a lesson a lot of pros had to learn. Like just about every single one in the Rocket League community.
So being the gentleman you were, you commented, you're like, dude, I'm super sorry. Like, we honestly just thought we were going against people.
I didn't know I had actually really hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
I remember he told me at least he was upset.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, you genuinely thought it was people that were kind of cheating the system. So it was a reasonable, like, come on, don't do this. You're kind of ruining the game. So you said, like, hey, I'd love to reach out to you and your teammates and help you. I can teach you some stuff. Maybe we can play some, and I'll teach you what I know. And I was like, he linked it to me. I'm like, oh, sweet. I wasn't really that mad about it, but free lessons from a guy who's on the pro team, I'd love that. So I pestered Quinn for probably months, right?
Probably?
Definitely months.
It was months.
Well, you were always so like, I'm just busy now, but next time I'm like, cool, I'll just message you in a week. And then like a week later, I'm like, hey, you got some time?
It was like every 2 days.
It wasn't that often. It was pretty often.
It was pretty often, but
yes,
I did offer.
And then you started the PPL.
And then I started a league called the PPL, Pulsar Premier League. And that's actually kind of what turned me on to getting more competitive when I got to see what people could do. And like you were showing me things I didn't think were possible, all sorts of stuff. And then I ended up forming an entire league based off of it. That was like all these tiers. I think it was a little before its time. We talked about it. It had like divisions. It was like, it took me probably like 200 hours to plan it and get it all planned out. We kept track of everyone's stats across the board.
Taking it from any any professional sport that has a relegation league, he could have just completely copied their system.
Yeah.
Nope, I designed my own.
Nope. Well, you run a community league. We talked about the community leagues last time. We can give you an update on some of the tournaments and how they went from this past weekend. The Beyond Astronaut tournament, I believe, is what it was called. Is one of the tournaments that happened here. And believe it or not, Applesauce comes out with the victory here. Who is Applesauce, Quinn?
Applesauce is Zolhe, Chicago, and Hato. And these are 3 players that are really quite seasoned. They've been around for a very long time, and just through sheer dedication and willpower, these guys have grinded and grinded and grinded. And really, they're starting to, break into that upper
Well,
echelon
they beat.
play, right?
They beat. You saw Take 3 came in second there. NRG and G2 were in that tournament, and they were
Defeated
able
by
to get the
Applesauce.
victory here.
They couldn't handle the applesauce.
And this is what I love about community tournaments is that this team, Applesauce, we've never talked about before on the RLCS or stage of any sort or on overtime or anything. And because they come out and win a community tournament here, now people know who these guys are. This is exactly how the community tournaments work. It's all about getting an opportunity to make a name for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
This team in particular, definitely all guys that within the pro scene, you'll have come up against them multiple times, and if you mention them to another player, they would know who they are. But as far as the whole team and just their standing within the community, this is what gets you seeded for RLCS, for instance. These are the kinds of things that put you on the map to get picked up by organizations or to really just have any relevance within the community whatsoever. I know that without
What a heavy
community
sentence.
tournaments,
Any
right?
relevant in the community whatsoever.
Yeah, you're nothing without leagues like PPL, without the Pro League,
Pro League
without
was it, dude.
Pro Rivalry League, Nexus, so many tournaments. I'm sorry for all the other ones that I got coming to my mind right
There's
now.
quite a few
Yeah,
right
there
now.
are quite a few.
You mentioned Nexus. Nexus is the other tournament, the other organizer, community organization that had a tournament this week that we can take a look at the results from what happened there. I believe it was NRG that came out on top with the victory. They were able to pull this one out over the Muffin Men and Ohana. And this is a good bounce back for NRG. Again, these community tournaments, I think you can talk to this, Quinn. I feel like the pros generally don't take this as seriously as they do something like the Brisk Summer Series or a DreamHack or the RLCS main stage. So the fact that you see teams like Applesauce winning isn't necessarily, it's not as if they were to win in RLCS, but to see NRG bounce back after losing to G2 is a good thing here.
I will say that I think the not taking community tournaments as seriously is a North American problem.
Oh, okay.
I don't think
Call
EU
that, boys.
teams. I mean, I'm just calling it how it is, right? I don't think EU teams slack nearly as much when it comes to entering these tournaments. I mean, if you're going to be a professional player, you're going to take this seriously, and you want to improve, you want as much practice as you can get, and you want money, right?
Here's a funny story. I remember watching one of Pashy's YouTube videos where they're playing in a Gfinity, and it's just like him playing in his perspective and his team's comms, and they were playing in the Gfinity was running Monday and Friday tournaments for 3v3 Rocket League in Europe, and they were playing in the Friday one, which was a bigger prize pool, and they were like, man, yeah, we're playing, this is like Mocket, they said Flipside won the last one, and they're like, yeah, that was the Monday one, which isn't as big of a deal, and they're like, and then someone on the team was like, yeah, but they got the money, didn't they? And there wasn't as many people to play against, right? And they were like, huh, I guess we should play in the Monday one, shouldn't we? To watch them be like, why are they playing the Monday one? And be like, oh, wait, we figured it out, and we totally should do it. And yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. It's a place to practice, a place to scrim, a place to get some extra cash in the meantime.
No, not a place to scrim.
I mean,
It's a place
sure.
to develop your tournament skills, which are a completely different thing than scrims and even just ranked play. I mean, you've mentioned before that playing on the ranked ladder is just not even close
No.
to being the same thing as entering into RLCS or entering into any kind of tournament, even community tournaments, because when you have a limited amount of lives, right?
Sure,
Your duration of this
Yeah.
tournament is finite, right? You're just not going to last forever. I mean, you start to get that adrenaline, you start to, the nerves going wild. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a whole different skill. So it's important that just like practicing in free training, you have to develop that skill by practicing in tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what round you're in, round one or the final round in the finals.
Oh, yeah.
If you lose a single game, you get your level goes up, right? Like one more level of adrenaline and like nervousness. You're just like, all right, we've lost one. We're 2 losses from getting knocked out. Even if you have 2 wins, you still have that they were able to take a game off us. If they can take 1 game off us, they can take all the games off us. Because obviously they found us at our weak spot, or they were able to outperform us whenever we weren't ready for it. And it was one of the most exciting things for me, especially when I did compete. I know you competed way more often than I did.
Oh, yeah.
But like when there's money on the line, especially early on in the scene, everyone wants to prove themselves. You want to make it on the power rankings. That's all we had.
Oh, yeah, the power rankings.
You made the power rankings, or you were nothing.
Yeah.
You were nothing. And it was like, I saw it. So many players were like battling just to make that top 10, battling to make a bubble team.
Those power rankings were.
It was fun because
did not want to be
they were
around there,
completely
man.
subjective.
No,
It was it was decided by a committee, and everyone always railed against it. Like, no, I can't believe you put that team at number 2 or whatever. And now it's fun because with RLCS we have kind of like much more stable rankings. Like, oh, you're the world champs, you're the reigning world champs. That doesn't change for a while. But the thing is that these community organizations, there was no way to like solidify them. So the power rankings had to become a thing, and so that's why those community tournaments so important there. And we saw Nexus is actually a pretty new community organization here. They split off from another org and made their own group here called Nexus. And so as Rocket League is evolving, we're consistently seeing new organizations. The community is thriving. We're now in our second year of Rocket League, which brings us to the huge update that's coming into Rocket League. I cannot wait for everything that's coming here. We'll roll the trailer. You'll get to see everything that comes as we got to see it when they showed it for the first time at the Season 3 LAN. But these guys, the stuff that they continue to put in the game, I remember feeling like there was, the first time they put an update, I was like, ooh, this is super cool.
These
and they
jams.
put another one out. It was like, just at the same time, you're like, I'm starting to kind of get stale with Rocket League. No, they pump all this new energy into it. And this stadium is, I think this is the biggest seat capacity we've seen at any Rocket League stadium so
The
far.
egg people shall thrive.
No, there's so many. At least 200,000 in attendance.
I don't know what the lore is for those egg people, but we need to find out.
I mean, this to try and encapsulate what it takes to be a LAN. I'm sure the crowd's going to be a lot louder.
Big deal.
Season 5 beginning.
Starting today. This patch is dropping today, by the way.
Oh yeah, that is true. So make sure you keep your Steam updates on.
We've seen no Paladin anything. And we get a new Paladin and a new Venom car, which was super
Not a new
exciting.
Power Venom, but like a kind of modified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it after it rolls, but that guy, oh my gosh.
We've been asking
Did you
for
see
this
that
so
whole
long.
explosion?
Skull?
People wanted this so long. Custom trails, custom engine sounds, custom gold explosions. It's like they took all the Reddit posts from the last 2 years, compiled them, and let's not talk about the juicy music. Everyone says that Rocket League's got some of the best game music
Yep.
of all time. And they're like, let's just pair up with Monster Cat, some of the best EDM out there, some really fun tracks. They're coming out, what, let's say like 15 tracks or something like that?
18.
18 tracks?
Get
I
straight.
still underestimated it.
I remember, okay, League of Rockets, talking about community orgs, League of Rockets is one of the coolest and most unique with the way that they produce their content. And they had a trailer for the 12 Titans, and they substituted in different engine sounds. They said it was like a GT, like V8, like kind of engine underneath an Octane. And it just, to see it like take off with that like beefy, bassy engine sound, I was like, oh, that game just got so much cooler. I was like thinking about these cars as like massive, like, think of them as like monster trucks. Like if you're like as tall as an Octane's tire, think about how much cooler and more
Yeah.
badass Rocket League becomes, you know?
Yeah, he's got a point. And it's really funny because ever since the beginning, we've seen people be like, it'd be so cool if you had custom goal explosions. Hey, Psyonix, you should do this. Or, man, I would love to have
Boom,
different
guess
sounds.
what?
Yeah.
Yep.
Psyonix is like, we did it. And I think it's the fact that they listen to everybody. And when you really just think about where this game came from, I mean, I think I got the game like the third day it was out. And compared to now, it would have seemed bare bones, but it still had a lot of stuff. A lot of content. There were constantly new cars to unlock. There were some new items to unlock, new paint jobs.
I remember at the time you couldn't even have multiple car presets for the longest time.
That
Remember how
was
long that
very,
took to
very
come
recent.
out?
Yeah.
I mean, they still got it out there, so shout out Psyonix. We know you listen.
Yeah,
We love you.
it's fantastic.
But
Yeah.
for real, I remember just how excited, like, Psyonix really put so much effort and they're constantly updating the game. And so,
Well, you remember, I think the first big update that happened was Wasteland. And you booted up the game, and the way you see it's Manfield Night with your car is on the main
Yeah.
menu, and they switched it, and their car was sitting on Wasteland. And it was like, whoa, the whole menu looks completely different. I immediately went and customized my car to be more like bleached out colors and stuff, so it would like match the Wasteland
Mad
vibe.
Max type of thing.
Everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was way, way cooler the way that you could customize things. And I think, honestly, when they introduced the garage where you could have multiple car presets and you could set things to either the blue side or the orange side, I was like in my bathroom reading it, brushing
Wow.
my teeth, and I like threw it down and like fist pumped the air, and I was so excited because I was like, yes, I wanted this for so long. I was so pumped.
Having to go and change your car every single time, it definitely got a little bit infuriating because I love so many items and I wanted to put so many items in the game, and I just had to revamp my car like every other game because I'm like, maybe Dominus, no, maybe Octane. I really like the way this looks, and all the new cars have been a lot of fun too. I really have enjoyed. Like I think my favorite new car that's come out is like the Masamune. I love that car.
Oh, cars. Speaking of, respect to Psyonix for normalizing it.
Yes.
Really creating a much more vast, type of just inventory of hitboxes for all the players to use. There's so many different types of cars, and they all have different like specialties, I guess you could say, or different
Yeah.
attributes which make them more effective certain ways.
Yeah, it's within a very kind of limited range. There's no like clear defender or clear offensive car, but the two
I
new
don't
cars
know
that are
about
coming
that.
out, the two new cars that are coming out, I'm blanking on the names now, the Centillo and the Animus, I believe they are. They're like the Venom and the Paladin, but they have been made more competitive. So if you don't like those hitboxes, trust me, you'll like them a little bit more. We could go on about this for a long time. We got to wrap it up here. It's been a great episode of Overtime. Thank you guys for coming out. Findable Carpet, Quinn Lobdell, and myself, Wavepunk. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you this weekend, I believe it is when we're going to have the Brisk Summer Series for Europe. It'll be fantastic. Stay right here on the channel. Until then, for the next 36 hours, it'll be great. See you next time.